Good morning, you beautiful people of the Shield Wall Nation. This is your daily report. COVID statistics down below as usual. Let's get into this. So the Biden campaign raised $365 million in August, eclipsing President Trump's $165 million in July and former President Barack Obama's $193 million in September of 2008. See, Biden said, "What I'm having to spend a lot on is to counter the lies as being told by the Trump campaign. I'd say that shows some genuine enthusiasm about making sure we have a chance." Trump campaign has not announced their total for August yet. I don't think you need an extra, I don't know, what, 200 million to counter lies. But whatever. The campaign's, I think, really mainly about just money for themselves. Really, I mean, they walk away with you can see with Bernie Sanders, he lost and he walked away with the majority of the money. He gave it to some of his people, but, I mean, he has 3 houses, so good for him. It says the Democratic Party is pushing hard to reverse the loss of state legislature control that began in 2010. During the Obama administration, the Republican Party was able to flip 942 state legislative seats, which were dominated by Democrats for decades. Since the beginning of the Trump administration, however, Democrats have taken over 450 seats, 10 state chambers, and are hungry for more. The Democratic Legislative Committee, Campaign Committee, and groups such as former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder's National Democratic Redistricting Committee have invested heavily in North Carolina, Texas, Michigan, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona, and Iowa for 2020. It says, let's go into some economic stuff here. It says, economists are expressing concerns for a second, more lasting recession developing due to business failures, job losses, diminished spending in industry, and not directly hit by the pandemic. They claim that the increased number of temporary layoffs became permanent. The shift of predominantly women to men being laid off, and the rising rate of long-term unemployment claims are associated with the traditional recessions that like that in 2008. Darius Dale, managing director of Hedgeye Risk Management, said, "Our view is that the U.S. economy is transitioning from a depression to a recession and not a recovery." I mean, if it was to a depression and went to a recession, I guess that's kind of a recovery, right? I mean, I'm not an economist, so I don't know. It says Oregon state police were cross-deputized by the U.S. Marshals Service recently, which would allow officers to charge rioters under federal law and enforce the law on federal property. The deputized troopers would also be able to bypass the district attorney's office and prosecute through Oregon U.S. Attorney Bill Williams' office. There's a loophole. So, quite a few videos ago, I did mention something along the lines of that the state police could not. Oh, they did arrest them, but they were let free by the district attorney. And so now, since they're deputized, they don't have to go through that guy. And now when they do get arrested, they actually get prosecuted properly, which is an interesting little loophole. So that's good news. It'll teach these criminals that they can't, commit crimes, and at least not get away with it. President Trump ordered all federal agencies to report funds that can be directed away from cities that officials have allowed to deteriorate into lawless zones. It's imperative that the federal government review the use of federal funds by jurisdictions that permit anarchy, violence, and destruction of American cities, wrote President Trump in a memo. The order included Attorney General William Barr creating a list of anarchist jurisdictions that is initially focused on New York, Seattle, Portland, and Washington, D.C. Let's see. Contra Costa County District Attorney Diane Becken mandated that prosecutors consider the needs of looters when weighing their criminal charges. The new policy requires determination be made on whether or not suspects looted for financial gain or personal need. Antioch Police Officers Association President Steve Ayalo commented, "It shows that district attorney's office is picking and choosing the types of crimes it will prosecute versus just allowing laws and versus just following the laws in the book." I did actually see that video of her mentioning that hey, maybe we need to consider that these criminals are stealing for financial gain. Who cares if they're stealing for financial gain? They're still committing a crime. Whether I go and steal for financial gain or not, it is still a crime. It's ridiculous. It's like the mental illness on the left is mind-blowing. Anti-fascist doxing groups Panic in the Discord has moved from pressuring online donation platforms to the employers of contributors to Kyle Rittenhouse's legal defense fund. On Twitter, the group asked who's ready to get some Rittenhouse donors in hot water with their bosses. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. They're trying that hard to get people fired. Like, you got something better to do? You're pathetic. You're absolutely pathetic. Let's see. Black Lives Matter activists announced a rally in Fredericksburg, Virginia, with promotional flyers stating, "If it burns, it burns. This is war." The event follows BLM protesters last night in Northern Virginia and so, yeah. And that's I mean they're asking for violence. Like, these are not peaceful people. That's why I just don't understand the leftist thinking. I mean, sure as hell, if it says some far-right activist announced some rally and promotional flyers saying if it burns, it burns, this is war. If some far-right group said that, oh my gosh, the Democrats would go, oh my gosh, they're so violent over there. Look at them, they're so evil. There's so much fascism. Wah. But it's their side, is just oh, what do I say about it? Oh, they're so peaceful. Mental illness, I'm telling you. It says, Tuesday night, 9 people, including 2 juveniles, trespassed, damaged perimeter fences, and vandalized signs at the Denver Police Academy. Officers intercepted the group and prevented any further damage at the facility. Denver Police Chief Paul Pazin said, "Reckless efforts to harm people and property in our city is inexcusable and will not be tolerated." I hope not. I hope, I just have nothing else to say. It says, last weekend, Lonnie Fatiwa Albert assaulted several Federal Protective Services officers departing the Edith Green Wendell Wyatt Federal Building in Portland, Oregon. Albert followed the uniformed officers and then ran their car into an uncontrolled spin with his SUV. Officers were able to pursue Albert, fleeing the scene, captured his license plate information, but were rammed with his SUV a second time. Albert was released on Tuesday on conditions pending further federal court proceedings. He was released. I mean, that, depending on the situation, that's attempted murder. Then attempted murder on an officer. But he got released a couple days later. That's, I've got nothing else to say. Shield Wall Nation, stay strong, stay resilient. Shield Wall